Well, guys, get ready for absolute stock market insanity over the next 3 weeks. I'm talking insanity almost like my hair, okay? It's about to get crazy, all right? So we're going into the week of the 15th now, and basically these next 3 weeks are about to be absolutely insane because we have so many different big things going on in the market over the next 3 weeks specifically that are going to kind of fundamentally change the stock market for better or for worse over the next few weeks. In terms of where stocks go, okay? One of the reasons is basically we should get some kind of news in relation to the China-US trade deal. Some big news is expected toward the back half of the month of April, okay? Or maybe at the very beginning of May. And if we don't hear any very positive news that a deal is done or very close to getting done, I think the market's going to start to get very scared. So this is something that's expected here at the end of April. And if we don't get that, I think the market could get very, very scared. So that's a big factor out there because this has been something that has been talked about for literally pretty much the past year with the tariffs on China and how much that has affected the market, maybe negatively for the Chinese market in general. So this is something that the market is looking for, okay? That's just one factor of a million, okay? Next one is a sell in May and go away is about to happen. Basically what happens is some investors out there, some people in the market, they actually believe in this sell in May and go away like philosophy, okay? And basically what you'll have happen is sometimes at the very end of April, very beginning of May, you'll have actually some investors or some investment funds either liquidate all their positions in stocks or a significant portion of their stocks because they basically believe, and this isn't actually true, but they believe that the stock market does really bad in the summer months, okay? Now this is sometimes true every once in a while. The summertime is really weak for the stock market. It's really bad. However, most times the stock market also goes up throughout the summer, so sell in May and go away doesn't really work. However, some investors still believe in this whole let me sell all my stocks in May and just forget about it, and I'll come back to the market in September or October and I'll buy all the stocks I used to own. I'll buy all those stocks back or I'll buy other stocks, okay? That's something we have to factor in. We'll see how many people actually sell out of their positions. That could affect the market, okay? But the main thing we're going to have that's going to be absolutely crazy is earnings insanity. And it's kind of funny when you type in earnings insanity into Google, and I was looking for like maybe some Google images, and one of the first two things that come up when I type in earnings insanity, it looks like a video I did in 2017 and 2018, okay? But needless to say, we are about to have a ridiculous amount of earnings come out, okay? Apple should be reporting earnings within the next 3 weeks. They're expected to likely be reporting earnings on April 30th. Now, that date is not set in stone, but they are supposed to likely be reporting sometime around April 30th, okay? Now, Apple, in relation to Apple's earnings, this is an interesting one because nothing good is expected out of these earnings, okay? Basically, last year, the same quarter, they did a $2.73 of earnings per share. $2.36 is expected. That's a massive, massive decrease year over year in EPS expected. And think about all the shares Apple has bought back over the past year that basically aren't even going to count against this earnings compared to last year's earnings. So this is kind of one of those quarters for Apple that they should probably easily beat these EPS numbers, at least what analysts are expected. Analysts are also expecting revenue to be down about 6% year over year. Revenue should be down year over year. We'll have to see if it actually comes in at 6%, but the EPS number seems like one Apple should beat there. But needless to say, Apple's a massive company, one of the biggest in the entire stock market, one that affects all the semiconductor companies because whenever Apple's reporting great numbers and they're beating numbers, that usually reflects good in all the semiconductor stocks because tons of those stocks get massive amounts of their business from Apple. So that could affect the semiconductor industry very positively or very negatively, depending on how it goes. Was that not enough? Well, let's talk about Google, okay? One of the other biggest stocks in the entire stock market. Google McDougal should be reporting the day before Apple reports numbers on April 29th, okay? Now, in Google's case, this is one of the funniest ones I've seen in terms of what analysts are expecting here from earnings per share. So if you look at this current quarter, they're about to report here in about 2 weeks or so. It's amazing because a year ago, they had $13.33. Now analysts are only expecting 1058, so I'm guessing there's some one-time charge maybe in this current quarter versus last year. But the next quarter is even funnier, 454 year ago in EPS, but 1149 expected. And the next one overall for the year for Google McDougal is expected to be a positive year for earnings per share, from about $43.70 of earnings per share last year to about $47.08 this year, positive overall. In terms of this current quarter they're about to report, they're expected to do about 20% sales growth. And let me just say something about Google. It really doesn't get more solid as far as a company that just reports very good numbers, or maybe even say great numbers, quarter in and quarter out. Like, they've done this literally for like the past 20 years basically. Google is just an unbelievable company that just knocks it out of the ballpark every single quarter. Very rarely I've ever seen a quarter where Google didn't just have very good numbers. Like, all the time it's just, wow, those are very good. Wow, those are very good. Wow, those are very good numbers, okay? Was that not enough? The big beast that is AmazingZon should also be reporting earnings within the next 3 weeks, okay? April 25th is the expected earnings release date for AmazingZon, okay? Now, Amazon has some very high expectations for earnings per share here. If we look at a year ago, they did $3.27 in this current quarter. They're expected to do $4.72, okay? We're talking about a massive rise expected by analysts there in terms of their earnings per share, all right? And they're expected to do a sales growth, revenue growth of around 17% roughly in this quarter. So we'll have to see how all that shakes out. But needless to say, you've got Amazon, you've got Apple, you've got Google, all these companies expected to be reporting earnings over the next 2 or 3 weeks, guys. These are the type of companies that literally can make the entire stock market go up or down based upon where those stocks are actually moving, because their weights are so heavy on the market. Was that just too many American big companies? What about the biggest Chinese Goliath of them all, otherwise known as Alibaba? Alibaba should be reporting May 3rd. And once again, Alibaba is the biggest beast out of China, okay? They're expected to do about 97 cents of earnings per share in this current quarter versus 83 cents a year ago. That would be a very nice number if they report that. But look at the revenue growth, guys. Nearly 53% year over year revenue growth is expected from the big beast that is Alibaba. So we'll have to see that. And by the way, Alibaba's one of my biggest positions. It's probably, it might be top 5. It's probably my 5th or maybe my 6th biggest position in all my portfolio. So Alibaba is going to be very important. Speaking about another Goliath company that is going to be reporting, that's going to be very important to me. This is actually my biggest position in my portfolio. Facebook. Facebook is expected to be reporting April 24th, okay, about 2 weeks from now, a little under 2 weeks from now. In terms of Facebook, I love what is expected because not much is expected. Year over year, EPS is expected to be down from $1.69 last year to analysts are only expecting $1.63 in this current quarter for basically earnings per share. So that's actually a down number. I love when analysts expect down numbers, especially when we're talking about revenue growth of 25% year over year. So a lot is expected from Facebook in regards to revenue growth, but literally nothing is expected in terms of earnings per share growth, which gives Facebook a great opportunity to hopefully smash those numbers or at least beat those numbers. Once again, my biggest position is Facebook, so a very important earnings obviously for me in terms of I'll probably, the day after Facebook reports numbers, like my wealth is probably going to go up or down tens of thousands of dollars depending on what happens there with Facebook stock, okay? What about the biggest company in the entire world? This one's always forgotten about, okay? This one's literally the biggest company in the world in terms of public companies that you can invest in, and that is Microsoft, okay? Microsoft should be reporting earnings on April 24th as well, which would be, I believe, the same day as Facebook if they do end up doing April 24th there. Microsoft is literally the biggest market cap company in the entire stock market, $927 billion market cap on this company. In terms of Microsoft, not much is expected. Earnings per share, 95 cents they did last year, about $1 is expected here, so a very slight growth of just 4 or 5% expected there. In terms of revenue, expected to basically do about 11% revenue growth year over year. Microsoft should probably easily beat those numbers. We'll have to see. Microsoft's not a company I keep very close track of. It's also a company I don't personally own. If you got an opinion about Microsoft, let me know in that comment section. I would love to hear your guys' opinion about Microsoft. Just a company that's always forgotten about, and it's literally the biggest market cap in the world. We always think about Apple, Amazon. It's actually Microsoft, okay? Now, what's interesting is it's not just the big dogs that are all going going to be reporting over the next couple weeks. Also, the Russell 2000, almost 80+% of the stocks in the Russell 2000 will be reporting their earnings over the next few weeks, meaning that not only are all these big companies going to be reporting, all these companies that are in the S&P 500, for instance, all these Goliath, all these companies in the NASDAQ 100, most of them are all going to be reporting over the next 3 weeks or so. Not only them, but all the little guys, okay? So little guys are affected by the big guys' stock prices going up or down. That kind of impacts the markets, how the indexes do in general. But then on top of that, all these little companies are going to be reporting earnings, and some of these little companies, they can move 10, 20% plus on an earnings move, and sometimes somebody in that space can actually negatively or positively affect the entire sector, guys. So needless to say, the stock market is about to get insane over the next few weeks. We're going to see some huge moves in a ton of different stocks. I want to hear from you guys in that comment section if you were excited for this, guys. I always love earnings season. I love the action, man. It's always a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of earnings updates coming on the channel, needless to say. Thank you for watching and have a great day.